Hello everybody, welcome back to Mommy of 9. Don't mind me, I'm in my studio working on some stuff. I just had a video that I think is important to do. Only because I think it'll help kids of this generation, or any kids for that matter, understand some things. Well, they'll say they understand some things, and then they won't until they're old enough and go through it, and then they'll understand some things. So today's video is going to be about, I guess, epiphanies, or a true understanding of parenting, the real of it, not the smoke and mirrors, the oh my God, it looks like I have a black eye. I don't, I guarantee it, but that's crazy. What in the world? See, I don't. Oh, wow, okay. Anyways, the real understanding, the true, not the baby booties and the smoking mirrors and all the trumped up stuff we want to say parenting really is. I'm going to get down to the pain, the heartache. As a parent, you're going to feel some of the worst pain in your life. Make you want to die, honestly. And most of it comes from your child. So stay tuned. It's going to be an interesting one. Okay, so now this video is not for children. That's why I'm smoking. Hopefully YouTube won't get mad at me for it. Okay, so you're a parent. You have kids and you understand this video. Or you're a new parent. You think you understand this video. Or you're not a parent and you want to understand this video because either you're pregnant or you're going to become a parent or whatever. Or something's happened to you and you want to watch this video because you want to gain an understanding based on what's happened to you. You're one of the above. Or you're not a parent at all and you're just watching it because you like my face. I have no idea. Okay. Now, regardless of what kind of parent you are, you've had your, if you're a parent, right? You've had your child. You love your child. You look at that child and you think, God, this child can never do any wrong. Oh, he will do wrong. Obviously, you know that in the back of your head. But of course, you don't want to think that, right? You don't want to think of the wrongdoings your child could do because you're a better parent than that. You're going to raise your kid in a way where they're going to be good kids and they're not going to do anything wrong and, that kind of stuff. And they're never going to slight you because why would they? You're not going to be that kind of parent. You're not going to be your parent. You're not going to be your mother. Then you get older. Now, this isn't, disclaimer, this doesn't go for all parents. There's some really, really terrible parents out there. And some people that should not become parents. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about regular, everyday parents that love their kids and do what they think is right. Okay. So, we've got, you've raised your kid, right? And you remember getting mad at your mom, and your mom was so unfair, and this, that, and the other, and you maintained this throughout your life, right? That you were good, and whenever you got mad at your mom or your parents and you didn't feel like you needed to apologize, you were justified, right? They did wrong. They were mean. They were cruel. Well, maybe that was the case in sometimes, but I'm going to tell you right now, what you think is mean and cruel now, when you were younger, you're not going to think that way when you're older and you realize just the conundrum that is parenting. Okay? You think that as a parent, right? When you're in it, you do everything you can to raise that child in a way that is respectable. You don't want them to be bullied, so you teach them how to fight. You don't want them to be afraid, so you tell them to get the fuck up and, get it. get the fuck up and move on. Dust it off, right? You don't say things like that because you don't care. As a parent, you got to make those tough decisions that nobody else in the world should ever have to make. The decisions that are almost impossible decisions, kind of like that game, would you do this or that? Like, would you, blow someone with a venereal or a disease, or would you, stick your tongue down a 100-year-old's throat? It's like, either one is a terrible decision, right? But in parenting, you've got to make one of the two. Not in that specific situation, but, just in life. You got to decide, are you going to turn your kid in, or are you going to run? Are you going to, in certain situations, I'm not saying that everybody's kid's a criminal, they're not. My kid's not, but just in general, you got to decide, are you going to give them money, or are you not? Are you going to buy them food, or are you not? Are you going to tell them it's okay when it's not? Are you going to make something dramatic when it doesn't have to be? Are you going to not make something dramatic when it has to be? I mean, these decisions, there really is no right answer to them. There's no perfect answer. There's no guidebook to it. I thought I had it on lock, I was a good mom. Still am. Okay, sorry guys, it's been a couple of days since I came back to finish this video. It's just because, I got busy. But I think where I was at was I was kind of explaining to the young parents in the world, or the ones who aren't, they're going to be young, just new, or we had new parents, or even older parents. I mean, like, I didn't learn this lesson until now, like 6 months ago, and I have a 25-year-old. For parents, it's shining a light on how you treat your parents and what you're doing with your children and how they're going to turn around and, look at you. For kids, it's remember how hard of a job parents really have. I'm not even kidding. Because no matter what we do, honestly, no matter what we do, at some point, multiple times, several times, a million times in your life, you're going to think that we're horrible. And the love that we have for you can't be explained. Now, I say this, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to this little, I think I already said this once, I'm going to say it again. When I talk about parents in this video, I'm talking about parents who are worth their snuff, you know what I mean? And that statement is not necessarily for you to make the decision call on as kids or whatever, because you're not kids, children of the people I'm talking about. You could be older children, you could be adult children, doesn't matter. If your parents are still alive, you're someone's child. And I say this, it's not up to you to say whether your parent is worth their snuff. It's up to societal rules. It's up to, norms, legalities, things like that. If your parent left you, well, and even then, you don't really know what that person's feeling. Now, unless you have, like, Sybil's mom, I know all the younger ones, if you don't know what Sybil is, look up the movie Sybil, and you'll see. Bad. Or Mommy Dearest. Even then, yes, she beat her kids, but she loves her kids. She did it because she loved them. And I know that's sick and twisted, and I'm not saying it's right. It's not. To beat your kids at all. No more wire hangers. Anyways, okay. If anybody's seen that movie, you'll understand that. It's not okay to beat your kids. Obviously. It's not justified. I'm not saying it is. Please, God, don't think I'm saying it isn't. Don't freak out thinking, oh my God. No, it's not okay. But my point is that she felt love for those kids. Okay? We don't know how much love she felt. We're not her. But I can tell you that regardless, most of the time, I'm gonna wager to say 90% of the time, parents, whether they're adoptive parents or birth parents, whatever, they have these feelings inside of them to, for this child. And those feelings dictate what they do. And it dictates what they do for the good or the bad in the mind of that parent. Now, society dictates what is legal, illegal, okay, not okay, all that stuff, right? What might be okay to you is horrific to the person down the street. Like, you might think that brushing your kids' teeth for them until they're 13 is okay because you're helping them brush their teeth, you're making sure they don't have cavities, whatever. You're their mom, that's okay. The person down the street might think, oh my god, that's child abuse because you're assisting your child brushing your teeth until he's 13. You should stop at 5. Okay? And then if that person were to grow up and get in the Senate or whatever and keep preaching that for 20 years, then of course society would think that was horrible. Now, causing pain, like real pain, like breaking bones, you know what I'm talking about when I say like pain and abuse, right? I mean, use your brains. That is never okay on any societal standard, in any norm, ever, anywhere. Not feeding your kids, not chaining them to like beds and stuff. I mean, depraved, disgusting stuff, right? Ew. Okay, so we're not even going to go there because we know that's a given. It's an obvious thing. It's not okay. All right. Now, with the rest of the normal or, not depraved parents, generally, your parents love you. We might not think so as kids or children. At times, we might be like, my mom doesn't love me. We might think that. Trust me, I've thought it. And my mom's going to watch this and go, really? When? Well, I have. And it wasn't even her fault. At all. Just like it's not my fault if my kids don't think I love them. It really isn't. Because everybody's vision or view of what love is also different. So, say you have a mom, right? Has a kid at 16. She busts her butt, works her ass off. 2-3 jobs a day, doesn't graduate high school, to live in this little hovel with her kid, and barely scraping out. I mean, really barely. And she's just exhausted. She just can't do it. Right? There's nobody to help her. She has nothing else. She's alone other than that. So she decides to give the kid up for adoption. The kid's like 3 or 4. The kid obviously remembers her, loves her, and she's tortured for the rest of her life because she remembers that baby. She loves that baby. She loved that baby so much that she knew she could not give that child the life that she deserved. So she gave it for adoption. Child's 16. Doesn't remember her now. Has had a wonderful life. Happy, well-adjusted, kind. And finds out she's adopted. And assumes, like a lot of normal adopted kids would assume, that their parent didn't love them. They must not have loved me. They gave me away. I don't care if we were poor. I wouldn't have cared growing up poor. You can say that until it happens. Just telling you. Okay? You can say how you don't mind growing up poor until you're poor growing up. And kids make fun of you because you have holes in your shoes, or your clothes stink because your mom can't afford to go to the laundry, or even when you down to getting made fun of because you're not wearing Nike or Adidas or whatever. You can say, oh, I don't care about a name brand. Yes, you do. Everybody does. You might not care about Adidas, but Birkenstocks or this or that. You care. Everybody has a label. Everybody does. You can say how you don't have labels. I don't believe in labels. Baloney. Everybody does. A label is a fancy, let's pick it term for a name. Green, blue, wall, floor. They're all labels. Get over it. Anyways, you can say you wouldn't mind growing up poor until you have to. until you never see your mom because she's working so much. And when you do, she falls asleep halfway through reading you the first sentence of your book at night. And you throw a fit thinking, oh my God, we wake up and do your job as a mom. It's another example, you know. Okay, say the child didn't get put up for adoption, and the child is 8 years old, and she's still working and everything, so she tries to read her kid a book every night. She lays down, and almost every night, she falls asleep, well, pretty closely into the book. The kid is mad. And like, can't you just get through one book? Well, the kid thinks he's justified for being mad, doesn't realize what's really going on. You know, and that happens continuously throughout the life of the children and the parents. And until your child does it to you, you are not going to understand the pain that it puts a parent through. I didn't think any of my children ever would put me through that kind of pain. And then it happened, and I had to quickly figure out how to reconcile it, like, why? And it's real simple. They don't see what they're doing until after it's done. They reflect, go back, right? Hindsight's 20/20. And they're not fully going to get it until their kid does it to them. And maybe even not even then. There's a very few adults who can reflect and think back to what they did, even if they felt like it was a good reason. It's very few adults who can look back and go, you know what, even though I felt like I had a good reason, despite my reasons, despite my justifications for acting that way, I should never be a party to hurting somebody that badly. Because you do not know what that pain feels like until you're there. I'm telling you right now, just like I can't tell you what childbirth feels like, I can tell you it feels like you're being ripped, your stomach's being ripped out of your butt with a claw. But you're not going to fully understand what that feels like until someone pulls a claw up your butt and rips your stomach out. Or you have a baby. Anybody who's had babies, laugh, it's funny. That's how it feels. But just like I can't tell you the pain that you will go through the first time your kid, you know, hurts you like that. And they don't even have to mean to hurt you like that. But it will happen. It will happen quite a few times. And they'll come back later. And they'll say, I'm sorry, Mom, you know, I didn't mean to, And it'll be a real short, I love you, I'm sorry. Because, you know, of course, in the mind of a child, right? You know, that's my mom, they'll always love me. And it's true, we will. But just because we'll always love you doesn't give the justification to do that. But in saying that, I understand that you're not always going to see that. Even now, my kids are going to watch this and go, huh? You just apologize and it's cool, right, Mom? Yeah, it is cool. I love you. Of course it's cool. But you won't understand the hole that we have after that happens. Like, I'm sure my mom was over the shit I've done to her now. Well, most of it. But, excuse me. But if she sat down and thought about it, she'd probably be very sad. And that will never go away. No matter what I do. No matter if I say I'm sorry or I recognize it. And I've talked to her about this and she, you know, she knows that I came to this, like, epiphany. But there's nothing I can ever do to mend that, you know, because I essentially took a piece of myself and ripped it out of her permanently in the actions that I did. And the actions don't even have to be, and my actions were bad, but some of them are bad, some of them are not that bad, some of them are really, really bad. But, and that's over the course of my whole life. But for a parent to feel that way, it doesn't even have to be that drastic of an action. It can be, I hate you, slam. The kid's going to get over that in an hour. They're going to be like, Mom, you know I don't hate you. Why do you take it so bad? Because that, I hate you, that's gut-wrenching, you know, for a parent to hear that. This child that they've fed and changed and kissed and loved and squeezed and told they were perfect their whole life, just told them they hate them. Man, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad or otherwise, that shit hurts. And that's a little piece of them that they're pulling out of you every time. And those holes, they stay like Swiss cheese. So, I hope everybody understands what I'm saying. And I'm just trying to say, you know, parents, we have these decisions and choices that we have to make as parents. And sometimes they're not popular. Sometimes they're not what you want. Sometimes they're not what we want. But we have to figure out, you know, like the lesser of the two evils, right? Do you let your kids have a sip of champagne at New Year's so they get used to the alcohol or whatever and so they don't want to go out and get drunk? Or do you not and totally shelter them from it and then they go out at 18 and get freaking alcohol poisoning? You know, which one was a better choice? Not giving them the alcohol or giving it to them so they know what it feels like so they don't go out and experiment without you? You know, I don't know the answer to that one. I really don't know the answer to that one. You know, we have these impossible choices to make every day of our lives. Do you know, one or the other? Now, a lot of times, of course, we have this middle ground where we can talk to our kids and say, look, okay, I don't want you to do this, but if you really feel the need to, I can't really stop you, but this is why I don't want you to do it, and I would really appreciate if you take my advice. Okay. But they're still not going to know what the alcohol feels like, and they're still going to go out at 18 and get drunk. They might even get too drunk. And, you know, everybody can say, oh, it's growing up, you get drunk. Yeah, but, you know, kids get alcohol poisoning too, and people slip things in people's drinks, and it can get really nasty these days. So, me personally, you know, I didn't drink in my house, so my kids didn't drink. If they drank outside of me, I didn't know it. After they turned 18, yeah, I gave them champagne on New Year's. Under my roof. They didn't go anywhere. That's legal in California. And did I get them drunk? No. It was a celebratory champagne after the age of 18. And have any of them gone out and gotten so stupid drunk? Well, yeah, they've gotten out and got stupid drunk probably. But nobody's, knock on wood, cross the God, nobody is, you know, took it too far. And there's been some embarrassing stories, but, you know, everyone's still okay. You know, but there's always going to be something, you can't please them all, right? You can't make them all happy. You know, if you don't discipline your kids grow up to be self-entitled, you know, spoiled brats. If you punish your kids and spank them and don't let them do this, don't let them do that, and have consequences and blah, 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 then you're overbearing. Then you're mean. Then, oh my God, you're traumatizing them because you expect them to do things and you expect shit to happen. I'm sorry, when I was growing up, it was, you talk back to your mom, you yell, you got popped right in the mouth. Anybody my age, I'm 43, anybody y'all grew up in the, you know, 80s, 90s, y'all know what I'm talking about, and y'all know it's true. And if anybody from CPS is watching or anything like that, it's not a CPS video, but I'm just saying, y'all know it's true. You know, there was nothing wrong with it then, there's nothing wrong with it now. You know, I don't do it now because obviously, you know, they're saying it's wrong. Child abuse. It's not damn child abuse. It's child abuse not to. Because I'm sorry, but fuck you, Mom. Okay, little Johnny, why don't you go have a timeout in the corner for 10 minutes? Sure, that's helpful. Do you really think that is going to do a darn bit of good when he is 26 years old, looking at his boss that he hates, saying, "Fuck you, Tom," and he loses his job and gets fired because the real world don't play that game? Yeah, that's why we have so many millennials living with mommy and daddy until 30 and 40, because they can't hack it, because they haven't been given the skills, because we were dampened as parents. Anyways. So, but I'm sorry, that's not child abuse in my mind. You know, it's a difference between believing something is child abuse and not doing it because you know your consequences for it, and actually believing it's child abuse. And I do not believe, popping somebody in the mouth, whapping them upside the head if they act stupid or something like that is child abuse. And when I say whapping upside the head, I don't mean like punching them in the side of the head and causing a concussion. I mean like your kid, lies to you or whatever, and you just knock it off. You throw a shoe at him or something and it hits him in the butt or in the back or the arm, whatever. So, I'm sorry, but and y'all out there who know this, you're gonna get it. Wooden spoon. That's all I gotta say. Alright guys, I'm gonna cut this off. It was me just kind of rambling and about stuff. So I'm children of the world, whether you're 30 or 3, I should be watching 53, but or 13 or 45. Your parents feel things on a different level than you do. And until you understand how that feels, don't fuck with that. Be nice to your parents, damn it. You think it's going to be there to pick you up if you fuck up. Yeah, the parents. So have a little respect. Me included. Have a little respect. Like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. You know where the money goes. Ciao.